Hello, welcome back to RevScale YouTube channel. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. We are going to get into how to audit an account in less than 15 minutes. I think people overemphasize how important an audit is. Honestly, if you've had enough experience with email, you just know what to do to create an optimized foundation. That's me. And I think too many people focus on kind of like the wrong things, like padding and pixel size of an image, or subject lines, or just shit that doesn't matter, right? So we're gonna focus only on the things that matter. Okay, so we're gonna look at a brand together, and we're just gonna audit it from the very surface level. Okay, we'll look at a couple of key things, and I'll show you how you can go very deep and in depth on these analytics if you really want. Okay, so let's just dive in. All right, let's get into the meat of it. So putting my phone on silent in case someone calls, because I want to lock in here. Okay. So we have an account doing $1 million to $2 million a month in peak season. You can see that attributed revenue is 50%. Really good, right? So before we took on this brand, they were probably doing like 20 to 30%. So apparel brand, right? A few things should be pointed out to you, right? Firstly, the attributed revenue, if it's like under 20 to 25%, there's always room for improvement. So, thirdly, like the campaigns, the flows, let's pull up my reporting tool just because. Let me pause really quick. Okay, I kind of said that I was going to just look at the Klaviyo account, but it's going to be just easier to explain these things if I show you visually. So this is a tool that we actually coded from scratch. It's like a full web app now. So it's like a self-serve web app. It was before hosted on Power BI, but we have this Klaviyo analytics tool that just helps to automate reporting for agencies. You see things at a quick glance, monitor campaign performance, visualize performance in a single dashboard, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is like a full SaaS that we made, which is pretty cool. But it's great to look at like macro views and make analyses. Okay, so let's analyze. We took them on in August, right? Their flow revenue was all right. Their campaign revenue was all right. I mean, how many campaigns were they even sending, right, in this time period? If we go here, it says blank. I don't know why this is blank. Campaign count, revenue per campaign. Can we do day? And do week? It's not really working. That sucks, but you can kind of see that it's kind of up only from here. I mean, let's go back to flows, the general overview. Open rate, click rate, RPR. Okay, so notice that when we onboarded them, the amount of recipients kind of increased dramatically, right? Notice on campaign revenue, the amount of recipients increased dramatically, right? Notice the split where campaign revenue makes up a majority in November, but also December, right? And when they kind of work with us, you see kind of that campaign volume going up, right? You see the attributed revenue split also, like steadily go up over time. So like what did we actually do here? Inside this audit, there's kind of a lot of things going on. Okay. I like to start with the sign up form. Okay. So their old sign up form, I think it was, let's see. Maybe it was this one. Let's go edit form. That's not it. Give me 1 second. Old pop-up. Generic. Boring. Asking a question. Want 10% off? No thanks. Getting a couple percent on the performance, right? Like if that. Let's contrast that with... Why isn't this showing? New pop-up. We segmented and created personalized journeys for this brand. So we're now asking, just look, the design is so much better. It is more clear what the offer is. It is more engaging. There's offer gamification, UI, UX design components. It's just better in every way. They have a multitude of offers. They're like Carhartt. They're a workwear brand, and they serve a variety of different people in different seasons and weather types that connotate the type of clothes people wear, whether they're on the job, they're the weekend warrior, outdoor activities, everyday essentials, right? So we just made this better in every conceivable way. And when we did that, it's through personalized journeys. And our belief is that, if we can segment these demographics to the core 4 personas and then give them core offers that they actually care about, we're going to produce more incremental revenue on the Welcome series, which is what we did, right? So kind of looking now at some of their flows, something people really shoot for. I mean, I'm highlighting like Black Friday because we crushed, but notice just like their campaigns are 80 and they're 20. It should be a 50-50 split, but that's not always the case. Okay, if you are a one-time purchase brand, you're gonna have a way higher weight towards flows and less on campaigns, right? Say you're constantly dropping like new products, you're a high consumable brand, and you're doing a lot of sales. I mean, campaigns might crush for you. In this case, there's a lot of sales going on, so it's making up 80%. Their top flows were browse, abandon, and SMS welcome series across sell and review requests. Like they weren't like very good at kind of utilizing their flows to a certain degree, and we recognize that, right? And you can kind of see this performance is really mostly just like showing the power of like our campaign strategy, right? But like let's kind of stick to some of the issues that we kind of saw. Okay, so there is a lack of personalized journeys given the size of the brand, and I've talked before in prior videos about what that means. If you check out my 7-figure strategy brand, I talk about that. But they have enough SKUs, they have enough different demos, and they have enough revenue and sample size audiences coming to the funnel to justify a personalized experience. And so that's what we did. Okay, they just in general just didn't have like a lot of flows, and they're a bigger brand, so they need a lot of flows. They need cross sells, abandoned checkouts, product abandons, personalized journey, a bunch of post purchase flows, right? And then even on the campaigns, like there's a lot of opportunity there, right? When you think about a brand that services different demographics, you can target people based off geography, right? If they're experiencing the Northeast winter, sell them the thick workwear clothes, right? If people are, experiencing really nice weather in Florida and California in the Midwest, sell them shorts and shirts, right? Kind of obvious, but that kind of stuff can like kind of stick, right? So we basically saw that they didn't have a solid campaign strategy. They weren't utilizing any segmenting. They didn't have a lot of flows. They had a poor performing pop-up, and that's it. And that's mostly what you're going to see in all these Klaviyo accounts, okay? If we go actually to, what we ended up doing for them. Let's go here. Let's go 1620. Let's go to the funnel map. You can see welcome on the job, welcome everyday essentials. I mean, look at this strategy that we're doing, right? Like very in-depth, very thoughtful, very personalized, right? Going down into the abandonment, abandoned cart, product abandoned just for some of their bestseller. Abandoned checkout, post-purchase flows, place order offers, cross-sells, win-backs, window shoppers, sunset flows, so just doing a little bit more work than on average. I mean, like they deserve it, right? They're a solid sized brand, and they have a lot of different needs, right? And so honestly, like that's just the kind of beginning, right? So when we're thinking through an audit of this account, I mean, there are core fundamental things you can look at, like, oh, this design sucks, right? Or there isn't enough flows, there isn't enough campaigns, there isn't enough segments to these campaigns, there isn't a bad pop-up. But When you work with an email agency, like we are going to fix all these like little issues by just creating an optimized foundation, right? So maybe the email didn't perform because it was a bad subject line, it's bad copy, or it's bad design, right? How are you going to pinpoint these besides like a split test side by side until you get what you think is more optimized? And instead, if you just work with someone who knows what they're doing, they're going to create beautiful looking emails with appropriate copy, with appropriate design, with those core fundamentals that you need in place to ensure proper performance, right? So sometimes it's less about pinpointing in an audit like exact things they're doing wrong, unless you start to split hairs and you're in a highly optimized account, and that's kind of a different discussion. And it's more about like getting to a place where most email accounts should be based off just an ideal of what excellence means in the email channel, right? And excellence in the email channel means creating creating flows and campaigns that perfectly mirror the customer journey, right? If these demos are really geared towards specific clothing items, you should obviously personalize that journey, right? If you have a big brand with hundreds and thousands of profiles, they have, 170,000 profiles. It's not that much, to be honest. I'm sure they've cleaned their list a bunch, but that deserves the proper care and effort. And so what does that mean? I mean, for Black Friday, we did 50 campaigns, right? And no shit, half the revenue, $500,000 a year was created. And like, yes, this was due to like just the sale, right? What was like the core sale? Let's go last year. Let's go 7. Where we were in August. Let's go 5. Getting closer. November. Black Friday sales live, 25% off. That's all you need. But yeah, I mean, another thing to look at in audits is obviously deliverability. You can just go to this deliverability score. And I mean, when you do audits, when you think about audits, audits really are recommendations on how you can make the account better, right? And there are two components to that. There's performance based off emails being sent, and then there's also deliverability, right? And so their deliverability is good, obviously, because they're working with us, right? But you can use a lot of different apps and tests in order to actually emphasize and pinpoint where deliverability can be improved. So if you use Glock apps, if you use Postmaster, if you send 4 emails, to 4 different email domains, Yahoo, Gmail, Office, Outlook, etc., Hotmail, and then you can get a deliverability report just by using some of these tools, and you can see which email domains are landing in spam, which ones are not landing in the primary inbox. You can look up what if and how the domain is blacklisted. In-depth deliverability reports really emphasize what is happening with the infrastructure. Is there proper email sending domain practices in place? Are there open rates over like 30 or 40%, right? Are there click rates over like, 0.05% at least, right? This one's at 0.8. I think 0.5 is pretty freaking good. Yeah, everything's pretty good in this account, honestly, except the click rate. But so yeah, I mean, it's half emphasizing an auditing strategy and really half is deliverability. But honestly, if someone's coming to me for an audit, dude, I'm not going to tell them like, hey, I'm going to create these test accounts, do an Excel sheet, like breakdown, and show them like everything to do with like the blacklisting, the domains, where it's landing, all that. They don't deserve it unless they're paying me like money, honestly. So like this is something that we do just through like kind of looking at the accounts, looking at our own internal reporting and analysis, and seeing like, is their email domain like completely in the shitter because their open rates are sub 20%, or are they fine? Can we like open up the sending segments, right? These are all things that we think about when we're starting to work on these active accounts. So this is honestly more of a discussion on how you should think about email performance and an audit and a breakdown, right? The core things you need to think about are like the pop-up, the flows, the campaigns, and deliverability. And inside of that, do the flows match the customer journey, right? Are they doing enough campaigns to the limits of their deliverability, right? Are they doing 4 a month under their $1 million brand? Why don't you test 12 or 16 or even 25 and see when deliverability starts to reduce? Or if revenue increases, then maintains and stabilizes that campaign count and volume based on the amount of profiles being sent on that account, then there you go. It's something you just know if you're an email agency, how many campaigns they need. With the pop-up, like, are you giving them micro commitments that are better than, do you want X% off, right? Does it have a good design? Are you utilizing testing third-party apps that outcompete the performance of Klaviyo's native pop-ups, right? How diverse are your campaign strategies? Are you sending to different segments? Like, most people aren't honestly doing that much work on email accounts. So it's kind of like low-hanging fruit to pinpoint all these things, to be honest. So yeah, I think it more comes down to like listening to the client and what their needs are, especially if the email account is already optimized. So this is just kind of like a breakdown how you should think about auditing an account versus like how to actually audit an account. But you can go a different direction in any type of account you audit, honestly. Like every account is different in some ways and they're all the same in some ways. So it's more of like, what is your secret sauce? What is the unique selling point of you, the person working on the account, you, the agency working on the account? And how can you tell a story? And honestly, how can you actually improve their foundation, right? I often talk to people and say, hey, your account looks great. Your agency's doing great. Like, why do you want someone different, right? And so that's a different conversation. So keep them honest. Look at the core fundamentals. There are metrics you compare. You can compare to the benchmarks, industry standards for whatever workwear and apparel, and compare that on open click and deliverability and conversion, opt-in rates, all that stuff, right? You kind of know welcome flow should have over 60% open rate. You should try and aim for like, 3% click rate, 30% plus open rate. Try and double or triple that depending on if it's a campaign or it's a flow or what kind of flow it is. Do they have enough flows? Are they sending enough campaigns? Do the email designs look good? Do they look like shit? Is the messaging good? Is it generic copy? There are things you can focus on to create these true incremental lifts on these accounts that actually like need it, can utilize it, and can create incremental revenue through email channel performance. So that's how you should think about auditing an account. This is kind of like fundamental evaluation analysis. So hopefully it was helpful. I was kind of rambling. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.